We're live.
Music. Good morning, Nudelberg Daily Huddle.
You want to do this again?
Great start to the day. Let's go. Every day. Every day. Thank you guys for joining us every day.
Yeah, it's cool. Seeing new people show up every day is kind of nice.
I love it.
Paul Rushton coming in from way across the pond.
Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Richard Tomer. Good to see you. Appreciate the message yesterday after.
Just imagine if we could all dance together, man. Damn. Brings tears to my eyes. It really does. This bullshit going on right now, crazy.
Yeah.
You know, this is one of those songs when you hear it, if you can't get up and dance to this, then basically you have no pulse.
You have no heartbeat.
No heartbeat.
You're not really living.
No.
Donna, good morning. Anna, good morning.
Oh my God, Billy Herman's here.
I was about to say Billy in the house.
Billy's
good morning, Billy.
Billy is a dear friend. Oh, good to see you, BA.
Good morning, Jeremy. Good morning, Sean Flood in the house. Good to see you. April, good morning. Love it. Crowd is rolling in.
We are getting it rolling this morning. For those that are new, we start off with a little music. We call it 3Ms, morning motivational music. Changes the head, man. Bang. Let's get out of whatever funk you were sleeping with, and let's make the day great. Marvin Dietz is in the house. Thank you. Bob Goldfarb original. I got a closet full of jackets, man. I'm wearing them every day.
Yeah, that we know.
I'm not going anywhere, but I'm wearing them every day, man.
I love it.
Jake Nudelberg to us
week
from Gainesville, man. Very cool.
Good morning, Todd. Good morning, Jakester. Jack Edelman, good morning. Glad to see you got back to school, Jake, and that you're still in the huddle.
That's good discipline, man. I like that.
Good to see the discipline.
All right. Good to see the discipline. All right. We got a lot of content today. I want to kick off the conversation this morning with sort of what are you doing to make yourself better? And so you and I are deeply involved in this conversation. We're helping others on a regular basis, and whether it be team or open events or one-on-one, we're firmly entrenched in helping people get better. So I want to let everybody know that we drink the Kool-Aid and get better ourselves. So why don't you talk about our day yesterday?
Yeah, so yesterday we jumped into an hour-and-a-half webinar. We spent from 10 a.m. to 11:30 going into best practices on LinkedIn. You know, there's a lot of people that are out there talking about what they're teaching on LinkedIn, whether it be content creation and how to get a bigger following and all the different things that people are talking about in strategies for how to go about the best practices. So we spent an hour and a half in somebody else's webinar watching them teach LinkedIn and what they taught and how they said things. And it was great because it was very validating for a lot of the things that we teach. You know, we saw a ton of value in what we do and how we deliver our message. And, you know, you have to be willing to say, maybe I don't know it all. Maybe we're not the best of the best, and be willing to look at other people's things with an objective lens to say, okay, what do they have? What are they doing? Does it fit who we are? Does it fit what we teach? Is it a way to make it make sense for us? Or do we like what we're doing and we keep it moving forward? So I think the constant evaluation of yourself and what else is out there to learn, grow, and get better.
So I actually got a note from the guy that we took the webinar from. It was a small little intimate webinar. And he reached back out to me and said, hey, kudos to you for someone who is open to looking at what other people do and how they do it. And, you know, it's pretty wild, because if you pick up one kernel, one nugget of an idea that makes what you do better, And this is one of the things that was a hurdle for me when I got into the training thing, because I was like, well, I don't have this content. I don't have this laid out program. No, I only had 40 years worth of shit that I did myself, until I finally realized that I just got to take all of the things I learned. You know, I was fortunate early on to meet Tony Robbins before he exploded, you know, with Dan Lear. And, you know, he was putting out some great stuff, but I didn't buy 100% what he said. And I tell people that when they listen to me, go, listen, people read my book and they go, well, I don't like rule number 16. Then don't do it. You know, just make it your own, do your own thing. So I found yesterday to be really interesting, looking at other perspective, look at what questions people were asking, always being on top of it. I sum that mindset into a sort of a daily habit called 3 L's, lifelong learning. I want to learn every minute of every day. I want something to come in and I want it to be an aha moment. I want it to be, wow, I didn't think about it that way, or I didn't position it that way. Just like when we talked about the Ford, you know, that was not ours, but it's firmly incorporated into what we do. I give John DeJulius credit the same way he took my Tell Me Something and runs with it. And so it's really a matter of the combination, the recipe that you want to make. Mark Thomas puts it right. Good morning, Mark. That, you know, it's really cherry picking. That one, that resonated with me. That felt good. And the next topic we'll talk about is what webinars, what Zoom networking events, what all of that kind of stuff. So I had the pleasure, the honor, I will say, to be invited into a very intimate group yesterday on Zoom with an entrepreneur named Jesse Itzler. If you are not following Jesse, you should. He's one of the most interesting human beings I know. Just to give you a little background, he started his career as a rapper. He had a company called Alphabet City, and he was writing jingles for NBA teams. And his intern at the time was a guy named Curtis. And Curtis is what we all now know as 50 Cent. So it's insane. He then went on to found Marquis Jets. Marquis Jets was sold to NetJets, which is part of the Warren Buffett world. He then went on to develop Zico coconut water long before coconut water was cool, which he sold to Coca-Cola. So this guy is just so incredible in terms of achievements. And he wound up spending an hour with us yesterday and just sort of went off on, you know, his state of mind, his state of being, what drives him. And so I want to share that conversation with you, if you will indulge me, because there's a couple of things that really stood out to me. Not earth-shattering, but sort of, God, if you're going to learn, man, you might as well learn from a guy who's done it. And when I say a guy who's climbed the mountains, he has flipped his fitness world into working with David Goggins. He wrote a book called Living with a Monk, Living with a SEAL, you know, where he takes 100 days and just lives the lifestyle. He's climbed mountains. He's run 100 miles. He's run 50 miles. Anyway, couple of things. He talks about daily vitamins. So all of us that are health nuts are putting in vitamin A, vitamin B, whatever you're taking. He talks about writing down the things that you need to make you good. And I call it, that's part of my in the zone. So there's a relationship. So Mark, comment on what you need every day in order to make you work, because you did it this morning.
Yeah, part of it, the first part is working out. I mean, to me, if I don't get up and at least get a walk in or get some kind of activity in the morning, I just feel different than the entire day. And I think for me in that workout, you know, this morning was the hardest workout that I think I've been a part of in the past 5 years. And there were so many times during the workout that I was like, God, I'm going to die. Like, this is absolutely horrible. But instead of quitting on the workout, I just said, all right, one more pedal, one more rep, one more whatever. And that sets the tone for me to walk into my day and say, all right, I've already set the bar here for what accomplishment looks like. Now I got to keep reaching that in every activity. And you just stack bricks that way. Because to me, if you start thinking about it as building blocks of vitamins, You add 1 brick. If you lose a brick, you're back at 0. But if you stack 2 bricks and lose a brick, you still got 1. You add 2 more, you lose a brick. Now you got 3. So to me, it's about stacking those bricks. You're never going to be perfect, but how much momentum can you create by doing that?
God, I think that's spectacular. Keeping on that theme, he talks about lots of people dream and lots of people talk, and lots of people even write down their goals. They don't write down when they're going to do their goals. And that was a aha for me. The when, it's like, he talked about a friend of his who has always 53, he's always dreamed of living in California. And he said, when the fuck are you going to do that? Like, right. The clock is moving backwards on you, bro. Just make a 6-month plan that says in 6 months, I'm going to reverse engineer, and everything I do today is getting me to California in a year. I'm going to give it a shot. And so the when was so incredible to me. I loved it. No surprise, he's a process guy. So he basically, and I've done this before, I framed the year around a word. Last year, my word was intention. I wanted every one of my behaviors, any one of my actions to be intentional. I wanted to have a why behind, why am I doing this? Why am I doing the daily huddle with you? What value, assess all of that. And so his word is soul. And he talked about it, that it's his lifelong word, and that he doesn't get involved in anything with anyone unless it has soul. Soul and passion are infectious, what he said. And that's where, when things get shitty, you can always rely on your, and he said, I don't care if I make 25 cents, if I'm passionate about it, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. And it allows you to have fun doing it. And I think I've talked about that before, where I really believe that I could be passionate about whatever it is that I'm doing because I'm a passionate person. But that only lasts for so long, because at some point I know that passion is no longer genuine, which alerts me, all right, it's time to move on from this. That lives for relationships, for jobs. That has been a key component in every step of my life, is that I've been able to be passionate about whatever it is that I'm doing. But as soon as it no longer becomes a genuine passion, then I know that something is wrong.
Fantastic. And so when you're watching a guy who his life's resume is so incredibly impressive, he said, here's how I get up every day. I look at my life as a bus ride, and the bus ride, right, starting today is much shorter than it was when he was 30. He's going to be 50. Or he's 52, I think he said. So, 52, his bus ride is much shorter. So he is looking at, what can I do to maximize the time I have, not what I did. He says there's no rear view mirror. He's not sitting around going, well, I did this with Zico water, and I did this and I did that. It's every single day. And he went like this. He was like, I'm squeezing the lemon, squeezing the towel to get everything I could. I will tell you, as a guy who has spoken on stage, I've been on stage with him, I've been in business with him, so we know each other. I wouldn't call each other, great friends, but we certainly know each other. I was so inspired, I wanted to jump off the bridge to just start flying, because he made me think I could.
Which I would say, if anybody's inspiring you to get to that level, that they're good, because everybody else is starting their day here with you and I. So if that person is getting you to jump off the balcony, wow, they've got some serious.
I was so engaged. I'm literally pages and pages of notes that I took. So I'm going to switch to just closing out the bus comment. He said he has his foot firmly on the gas pedal of life. Imagine, here's a guy, uber successful. He doesn't need to spend an hour with, a few of us on this Zoom call. It was intimate. He was calling all of us by name, and, really cool. And, here he's saying, listen, I have my foot firmly planted on the gas pedal of life, and I know what I want. And then he took the camera and he pointed it to his wall, and he had a gigantic calendar, gigantic. And he goes, everything is calendared. He goes, at 1 o'clock, so we were on from 12 to 1. At 1 o'clock, he was working out with a famous trainer named Mark Brown. And he goes, I know I have no regrets. I'm fully present here with you doing this, because I know I need to work out. And at 1 o'clock, to 2 o'clock, this guy's going to bust my ass. He goes, and then when I'm done, I'm not going to be resentful of anyone, especially my wife or kids, from taking away the things I want because I calendared the things I want and I need to feed myself. And I'm going, dude, can I come live with you? Okay. So the final thing, which is a word I did not know, but I did the research, and there is a concept that he found. So he also owns the Atlanta Hawks. Oh, excuse me.
Side note.
Underachiever. So he owns the Atlanta Hawks. He gets friendly with Kyle Korver. Kyle Korver shares this philosophy called Misagi. What is Misagi? Misagi is basically creating.
Is it Mr. Miyagi?
It's Mr. Miyagi. So, put one big thing on your calendar that scares you, that you never thought you could do, and go out and do it. So, I think most people hear that and they go, whoa, pump the brakes. One other guy in the group is the CEO of a company in New York. He was talking about today, he is doing something. He's running 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. I passed out just thinking about it. I mean, I don't even want to drive that, let alone run it. So, he talks about this thing called Misagi, and the reason why he does it, and this is what's so fabulous about this concept. And you can plan that. You can train for it. Some people run marathons. Some people climb mountains. And, in all candidness, Michelle and I were planning on going to a Jesse retreat in Utah, which was supposed to happen in August, and obviously got waylaid. But I was like, it was like a $7,000 investment per person. And I looked at Michelle and I go, we have to do this. We just have to invest in ourselves to have somebody else push us to a place where we just never get. There's just no way. Like you said, I'm driven like crazy. So here's the 3 takeaways from Mesabi. Look it up. I'll post it in the Huddle. For those of you who have joined the Huddle, the reason is that it's there for you to get this information. Number 1 is it allows you to defeat fear. He said he was definitely afraid of heights, but he climbed mountains. Number 2 is train hard. It's easy to get stuck in a rut and in your everyday routine. This is the other thing. He said the older you get, the harder it is to create newness. Holy cow. He goes, you just say, all right, he goes, well, I'm 50. If everything goes right, I have 30 years left. Plenty of time to do new shit. And then the last thing, and this speaks directly to why we talk about goal setting differently than most people do. He said it defines what's possible, because once you push yourself out of there, what happens the next year, what happens the year after. And Scotty Garber and I and you, Mark, we've talked about it. I visited him when he was living in Denver, and we were looking at the mountains, and he goes, you're coming with me, man. We're going to do this thing. And as soon as this, travel restrictions are down. But so if you can't tell, I am going to crush today because I was inspired by somebody who's going to help me do that. So, I'm blessed to have people in my life. Who in your life are you going to? To a certain degree, I'm there for you, Mark. Who are your 100%. People? Write them down. Find out who you can go to, who that when you're around them, they inject energy into you versus what I call the energy vampires. The ones who, when you stand next to them, they suck the blood right out of you. And you know what I'm talking about.
And I just want to make the comment that the statement of I don't know is no longer acceptable. The barrier to entry to success is 0. The internet revolutionized what you have access to. Take advantage of it. Research, look it up, invest in yourself with that time, and go get the answers to take yourself to the next level.
I think we did good for a hump day. What do you think, my son?
Yeah, I'm ready to pass out after the workout and this huddle. So I got 5 more hours to go. Let's go.
That's I got an 8:30 coaching call, so I'm going to bow out. Anybody who needs us and wants us, you know where to find us. Our Learn LinkedIn Like a Pro event is next Friday, the 12th. Some of you in the Huddle have asked, please, if you do not know how to use LinkedIn, it is a game changer tool in the middle of all of your tactics and everything like that. It's a game changer. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out to either one of us. We're happy to connect, walk you through it, show you what other people are doing. But get in the game. Have a great day. Happy hump day. Stay on the ball.
Stay on the ball.